Oh, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for. We're trying to hit the road pretty quickly because we are doing the last thrift trip of the year. Shark. Pipe can looking good. Mimic can. David can. And something happened with this, but the other part came out good. Skull. Shark. D20 bag. Nana. Gloom deck. There's never gonna be a better time to do this for Christmas, so let's just go. I can already feel sales starting to ramp up. Like, I'm reluctant to leave a little bit because I just want to work on stuff and get ready for Christmas. It's a traumatic thing, but it's not gonna get better. So if I'm gonna do this, we're doing it today. And honestly, there's no logical reason not to, which is why we are. For this one, we're just going with the classic. Don't mess around with Jim. Hey, don't be doing me like that. Why? What? You don't tug on Superman's cape. Pure vibes. And I make you a chain out of diamonds, pearls from a summer sea. Man, some pedestrians just crossed a green light, meaning like cars are coming across the road, and then they like take the crosswalk. And I had to slam on my brakes because the person in front of me almost hit these people. It's amazing, like maybe one of the traffic problems we have is that pedestrians can't get tickets. It's so, like, why do these people exist? It wasn't one of those things where it wasn't obvious either. Like, there are just cars going through this intersection, and it isn't like they even dodged the cars or tried to dodge the cars. There just were cars coming. Like I said, I almost ran into the back of this car because this guy had to stop so hard. Is that nobody ever had a rainbow baby until he had the rain? Not to go on about it, but it was also a couple walking across. Like, just a normal looking couple walking across. So good. We are not going to let the fact that a totally normal, non-cracked out looking couple almost ended their lives by walking in front of a car in front of me. We're not gonna let that spoil our mood, because it is thrift store day. Man, it's so nice to have a car that works. And you think you've seen trouble? Well, you're looking at a man oh, the world's own original hard luck story and an all-time loser man. But we sure had a good time when we started way back when. The demolition derby and the figure eight. It's easy money in the bank. First stop is this antique store. It usually doesn't have much of anything good, but sometimes it does. I've gotten some good cassettes here, I think. If I didn't already have a bunch of wall art, I would get that. That's pretty cool. I would have stuff like that in the store if I had tons of money. The European mind cannot comprehend this. Look at this. It's even my size. Unbelievably, this is $5. The European mind cannot comprehend this. Perfect day for a hat. I think I'm just gonna unironically wear this today. This was, of course, for the ridiculous photo shoots. But man, there's no reason why I can't just wear this. Oh, kind of bumps against the headrest. I'll wear it when I get out. The Joseph House in Lufkin. Longtime viewers may even remember this as the place where I got that one really nice industrial blender. We're doing it. We're wearing the hat. Absolute mad lad time. Man, I forgot we were in the VHS game. These guys are trying to fit a couch in their trunk. Man, maybe it could work. I'm so curious. We found some real classics today. Fistful of dollars. These were 5 for $1. Twister. The 2 Godfather movies. You know I had to do it. Braveheart. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the current plan might be to try to hold it while they're driving. If I had some twine, I would offer it. Well, anyway, let's move to the next place. I'll try not to drive behind them and do a final destination thing. Long-time viewers will have seen this Goodwill a couple of times. Wonder where that is. Okay, not the greatest stop. On to the next place. Somebody's having a bad day. So, I was recently cleaning out my iPhone and deleted a whole bunch of stuff, and I realized I deleted my thrift store list. See, I put them, roads but kind of rough back there. I put all these thrift stores in order so that I could get to them most efficiently, and yeah, I kind of deleted that. But I've done this so many times, I think I can do it from memory. Yep, I still got it. Right, segunda mano. I know a guy who has this whole movie memorized, which is so random. Some pretty good finds, actually. That place is generally one of the sort of less good ones, but we've got some pretty good VHSs. Must. Hey, I'm nostalgic too. And most importantly, I think this is the 1939 version. It's like 36 or 39 of Robin Hood. This is one of the first major like color films. I don't know if it's really one of the first, but it's, when you watch it, it's so colorful. And that's because like having color in film was so novel. Plus this is Errol Flynn. This is a really good movie. Like if you want like a really great old school action, you know, classic Hollywood film, this is what you want. Also, those were 60 cents a piece. This antique store, they tend to have a good cassette section. Last time I was here, the power went out. There we go. Check this out. The Bath album. That is a good album. I ponder the orbs. Just add coffee shop.
Somebody got the glue gun going. Yeah, I'm like really.
Wow.
Get your glue gun.
And she's got oval. Oh yeah, I have those too. I miss those.
She got a lot of stuff in that.
The ladies behind the counter there are always really chatty. She said the person that had that refrigerator had it as a kid. And it works, but it weighs 1,000,000 pounds, of course. For our cassette listening experiences, nothing like a best of Louis Armstrong. Now, if memory serves, we're going to the Hill Street Goodwill. It's gonna be nice. I was just wanting to watch The Godfather Part 2 again last night, because I've seen the first one a bunch of times, but I've only seen Godfather Part 2 once. A little on the disappointing side. Wow, there must be a fire around here. I don't know if it really shows up, but it's smoky. I don't know why I'm having a really dark thought right now, but I feel like I've kind of known that this is possible, but it's feeling like it really might be real, that war is just an inevitable part of human civilization. Historically speaking, something that has happened throughout human history is there gets to be a certain amount of men that are kind of at the bottom of the hierarchy. And every so often there would be a war and a whole bunch of those men would die. And the upshot of that is the men that didn't die kind of elevated in status. You know, they at least accomplished something. Then you'd have people that were particularly heroic, or maybe they moved up through the ranks or something. And you know, that was kind of, roughly speaking, a way for them to carry on their lineage. They made them more likely to reproduce and stuff like that. But now with the advent of nuclear weapons, large-scale war is really not exactly impossible, but it's the incentive to not have large-scale total wars is extremely diminished, because the people that start the wars could actually die. See, in, you know, medieval European history and beyond the medieval era, there was kind of this thing where, you know, kings would round up armies to send at each other to do try to expand their kingdoms or whatever reasons they had for doing so. And the monarchs were very, very unlikely to die. But now we can't even really have that. A war might really mean at least, you know, one of the countries getting more or less decimated, and, you know, at the worst possible case, the entire world and all life on Earth ending. And that is sort of often seen as a good thing, and it is a good thing that we don't have large-scale wars in the same way. But it's anytime something that fundamental changes, you have to ask, well, what purpose was war serving? This is a really brutal way to think, and this isn't actually how I think about the world, but, you know, you have to think about what the options are for people that are at the bottom of the hierarchy. And a lot of times these aren't synonymous, but a lot of times really unintelligent people are kind of at the bottom of things. And so really I told you this was an awful thought. Really unintelligent women can have babies and perpetuate the species, right? But it's what about the equivalent for men? It's you don't need a whole bunch of men, you just need a few men. I guess what I'm getting at is it really might be true that it just has to be that every so often a whole bunch of men die in war, and not doing that might have really catastrophic consequences, even though war is a very catastrophic consequence. Think about this. We have automation that's starting to eat up all of the, quote, low skill jobs, which I don't even like that term, but, you know, AI and stuff is starting to replace lawyers. So what happens when you have a bunch of guys that are sort of at the bottom of this hierarchy, and there aren't even basic jobs that people can do like there used to be? It used to be you didn't have to be super bright to work in a factory. That's not to say factory jobs are for dumb people or anything. My grandpa, a bunch of people in my family, I grew up in a factory town, so I understand what that's like. But you didn't have to have some kind of really advanced degree to sit there and work a machine for a long time. So it was a good deal for a lot of people. But yeah, it's what happens when there's tons of automation and then you have a bunch of guys that are around because there basically isn't any war to decimate their population, and they don't have any useful work to do. I don't know what the answer to that is, but it sounds really horrible. And there's no like happy ending to the story I'm telling right now. I am just sharing this thought because, well, that's what I do. And on that happy note, let's go to the other family crisis center. One possible solution to that, though, to end on a happy note, is there have been a lot of existential crises that humans have not, like going into them, it would seem like there was no possible solution. One such thing was, it used to be people literally, like nations fought wars over dung. You heard me right, like actual crap. And the reason was artificial fertilizers hadn't been invented yet, and nobody would have guessed that that was something that was possible. So like there's a lot of islands and stuff in South America that, you know, were basically uncontacted throughout the centuries, through millennia, and they would have a lot of fertilizer on them. And like I said, there were nations that really fought wars over this. So I think it was the late 1800s, early 1900s, it seemed like the world was running out of dung, which sounds crazy. And you know, you can say the same thing about oil. Like, there are finite supplies of oil, and it just seems like eventually, you know, especially back 70s, 80s, when a lot of that inflation and stuff was happening in the peak oil crisis, people thought we were really going to run out of oil. And we might, but, you know, alternative transportation and things like that had not really been thought of. So what I'm trying to say is the market, which is all of us, is a computational mechanism that comes up with solutions to things that nobody would have ever thought of. So it could be that the crisis I described, even though I can't think of a solution, that doesn't mean that nobody ever will. Like, if things were dependent on me solving every problem, it'd be a pretty bad world. Ugh. A little underwhelming today. I was expecting to at least find a couple of candles or something. You know, one thought on the whole, like, technology taking everything over thing is, like, think about it this way. So far, we have a little bit of technology. You know, life has, if we go back about 150 years, maybe 200 years if we're generous, life didn't change very much for the average person before that. So we've got a couple hundred years max of what we could call technology. And within that amount of time, we've already got Luddite groups, you know, like Amish people who reject technology and have specific, varying degrees of specific limits on how much technology they will allow in their life. So if we only have a little bit of technology, and wow, a new Goodwill just opened up. Goodwill's typically open till 6, so we'll go there last. Sorry. So what I'm saying is, if we project into the future, if we have more technology, if we have 100 years more technology, maybe we also get more Amish people or some equivalent thing in the future. Like what the Amish kind of did, the Anabaptists, is they took the level of technology that they had at that time and just stayed there, more or less, you know. And maybe people do that. Maybe there are going to be people in the future that want to live in like 90s technology. You know, they go back to the 1990s technology wise, and they just think like, okay, that's enough. We're gonna have some basic internet. We're gonna have like VHS and DVDs, and like we're not going any farther than that. Basically 1990s Luddites. And that's an option. Like, the 90s were pretty good. I'm sure that's what the Amish thought about, like, the 1800s. They're like, yeah, things were pretty good in the 1800s. Let's just stay there. Huntington, Texas is so small that a grocery store here went out of business. Second blessings. We don't always come out here. When I thought of getting a VHS player, this is the place I thought of.
Wish that was good. Their money, Harley. Shine, I told you to put that money back.
VHSs here, 10 for $1. It's kind of nice out. Let's run it down out here. Dangerous Minds. The Coolio movie. Dude, I just had to. Hellbound with Chuck Norris. A early Tom Cruise classic a lot of people forget about. The Firm. Maybe I should have got one with a cover that's still intact. The old Navy SEALs movie. I think a lot of Navy SEALs say that's super inaccurate. Something called 7 Strategies for Success by Wade Cook. I don't really know who that is, but 10 of these for $1. Gotta have Shawshank. I had that memorized pretty much when I was a kid. And I went for Schindler's List. In pretty good condition. I always feel weird saying, like, I love Schindler's List, but it is one of my favorite movies ever. Long time ago, somebody noted that I basically never watch comedies. And they thought it was kind of surprising because I do have a sense of humor. But I guess I have a sense of humor because I've had a fairly dark life. I guess most comedies just don't feel very relatable to me. I don't know. I like some, but it's just not a big thing for me. Well, let's head to that new Goodwill. It should be open. Most Goodwills are open till 6, so I think we're fine. Through the magic of video, it may not seem like Huntington, Texas is very far away from Nacogdoches or Lufkin, and it's not like that far away, but it's pretty far away. Look at this, brand new Goodwill. Also pretty limited in selection, but we did get a couple things. Tattoo shirt, I can dig it. We also got this ridiculous abomination. It looks like they made this. Wow, it's noisy. This looks like patterns from the wall of the local Chili's. Well, that's probably about enough for today. Really didn't spend very much. Those VHSs at every place were very cheap. Take us home, Nina. Okay, I'm glad we skipped the diner, even though we didn't voluntarily skip the diner, because this place, this is really good. And I haven't been here in probably 4 or 5 months. So good. It got real dark. That place is so good. And we're driving back. That was a pretty solid trip. Man, so many good VHSs. Maybe that's what I'll do after Christmas. Just watch a bunch of movies. There's nothing like that grainy thing. Man, I'm so grateful my car works. Plenty of day left to get stuff done. Well, pretty good trip. We're gonna bring in the man, they're so loud around here. We're gonna bring in the VHSs and make a little filament, get down tonight. Well, I guess we might as well do a little summary. It's a little bit of a ridiculous day, but again, these were between 10 and 50 and 60 cents. Shawshank and Schindler's List, maybe the best ones here. We kind of went through them before, but like, oh yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this one. This is not a bad collection. Maybe I would say the best one is maybe the first Godfather. I don't know. But yeah, just a couple of dollars. We're at least gonna get a couple rolls of the filament done. I wasn't gonna show this ahead of time, but we will give you a little preview of the taco. We have one more piece, but this is the shell, and this, I'm sure I got this going the right way, is the meat. And you'll see I put the groove there and this sort of well so that it fits into the right space. That is the taco meat. What we're printing now over here is the onions, and on top of that, a little dollop of tomato. So we'll get it painted, but that's kind of what we're looking at, something like that. And you can see that the hole in the middle, which I haven't quite cleaned up completely, this will be bolted together. And that's how you get a big old taco. Time to package this bad boy. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention one other thing before we kind of get done. We've got a few more things to do, but the other day when I mentioned that I'm on Facebook and the link is in the YouTube page, a ton of you sent me friend requests, which is fine. Cool. Send me more friend requests if you want. Pink T-Rex. Yes, we make it in pink. Einstein trash can with trash bag. Well, that's a pretty full day right there. Tell me if you guys like my self-portrait. All right. Like last episode, I think we're gonna read a couple of random comments. Explorer fan says, "Thank you for thinking of us Germans. Vielen Dank." Zalman 6422 has a crypto question. He asks, Bitcoin maximalist? For anyone that doesn't know, that is kind of the idea that Bitcoin is far and away the most superior crypto. At least that's what I always interpreted the term as meaning. I don't think I'm a Bitcoin maxi. A lot of Bitcoin maximalists will only buy Bitcoin and nothing else. My portfolio is about 50% Bitcoin. I've got some Ethereum. This is my biggest second. And then a bunch of other random stuff, kind of. I mean, some stuff in my crypto portfolio I've been holding for years and years and years. The Bitcoin, I started dollar cost averaging Bitcoin when it was only $256. So it just hit 85,000 or something like that. GCG Rich said he came for the 3D printing but stayed for the philosophy. And he wrote about how it's part of his morning routine. And he's not even the first person to do that. And that's pretty cool. Mornings are tough. Mornings are a rough time for people. The idea that my stuff helps people out in the morning means a lot. Like I said last time, I started reading a couple comments, just sort of randomly, because I am grateful for you guys, and it just seems like another way to sort of highlight your guys' contribution to the channel, so I really appreciate it. Now, a friend of the channel, the Scottish 3D, and I have been talking for a little while now, and we want to make you guys feel like you're really part of the Gratitude Gang. And yes, you leave comments and do all that stuff, and it's great, but we've decided to go the extra step. Unbelievably and very generously, he has offered to give you guys a Gratitude Gang Chihuahua. All you have to do is just cover shipping and basically a little bit of material. You know, you can see about how big this is. He is selling them at cost. He's not even doing a profit thing. It's just because he loves the channel and he kind of believes in the mission, you know. He's going to give it to you at cost for only 10 bucks. If you ship things like I do, you know that between shipping cost and materials, that's pretty much breaking even. So math checks out. Now, you won't be able to do this without a special discount code. Yes, he set up discount code M3 is 3D, just like the channel name. You can probably see the channel name under there. I'm going to put a link in the description box, and yes, you can get your very own one of these. The fun doesn't end there though. What I want you guys to do is, if you get one, take a selfie or some kind of picture with it, and then you'll send that to me. Send that to me on Facebook. My Facebook link is in the channel page or whatever, where all the links normally are. Then you're gonna send that picture to me, and then you're going to be in the video. Let's recap a little bit. The plan is, and listen, you don't have to do this. You know, you guys are just as much a part of the Gratitude Gang, even if you don't do all this stuff, and I appreciate you just as much. But if you want to be on screen and get a shout out, basically, just get one of these guys at cost, 10 bucks from the Scottish 3D. His shop is going to be in the description. Then all you have to do is just send me a selfie with it. And you will be, I'll probably make like a compilation of people's selfies and put it at some point in the video. I guess we'll see how many we get, but I'm sure we're gonna get at least a couple of responses. So yeah, it's a nice little fun thing that me and the Scottish 3D collaborated, and we just wanted to come up with a way more tangibly for you guys to kind of be part of the show and stuff. He has a lot of other cool stuff, you know, feel free to check it out. But yeah, somehow or another, our symbol is Chihuahua. You can also see this is a very nice print. You know, it's perfectly quality print. It'll look great on your shelf, and you're getting it at cost. Seriously. On this channel, I've never marketed any of my products. I mean, you guys see them, and people do buy from my store, but I don't really advertise it. This isn't like a super secret profit thing. It's just a fun way that you guys can kind of get in on the channel a little more. And lastly, I do ask, if you get your own Gratitude Gang Chihuahua, do the selfie thing, we do ask, he actually didn't ask this, but this is me talking. I ask that you leave him a good review, because you will get a quality product. I guarantee it. And, you know, he's growing his shop. I've got thousands of reviews, and he could use a few more. You guys are good people. Talk to you guys all the time. You message me on Facebook and stuff. And yeah, he didn't insist on this at all, but I do ask. If he's shipping you something at cost, at least leave him a good review. You know, it's almost like common courtesy. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. This is a thing we made available for you guys. He looks super cool by the cassette player. I mean, come on. But yeah, I'm grateful for that. That'll be fun. I'm hoping at least a couple of you send me those cool selfies. I'd maybe put it at the beginning of the video. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. I'm grateful for that. And I'm really grateful for all those VHS tapes. It's gonna be real nostalgic watching through them. It's pretty cool. I found the two Godfather movies. It was nice to take a little trip today and just get a little relaxation before the wave hits, because it is going to hit. I'm very, very grateful that we have filament on 2 of the pegs over here. Probably within a week, I bet this is gonna be full. That feels good. And then we still got another week or 2 after that before Christmas hits. So we're doing real good, and it feels great. But that's enough from me. Tell me what you're grateful for in the comments. You guys are, after all, the Gratitude Gang. Tell me in the comments what you're grateful for, what small things are kind of bringing you joy today, what projects you got going on. I love hearing about that. Really anything you want to tell me. You know, why not? And your special mission, You don't have to do it, okay? But if you want a special mission, like somebody else's comment, they get a little notification and it says, hey, somebody liked your comment. And that's the best feeling in the world. It's like $1 million. It's like winning the Publishers Clearinghouse. So again, if you want to do the thing, links in the comments. And I'm very glad you paid attention, and it means a lot to me that you take time out of your day, especially your morning, come on, to watch these videos. It is a big deal. So peace out, everybody.
These are the times that try men's souls.